Hi, today we are going to study applied aspect of adrenal cortex. Now, in the adrenal gland, we will study hyperactivity of adrenal cortex and hypoactivity of adrenal cortex. So let us discuss the hyperactivity of adrenal cortex. What happens when the function of adrenal cortex increases and it becomes a disease-like condition. So the disorders that we are going to study first is Cushing syndrome, that is also known as hypercortisol state. Then Conn's syndrome, that is hyperaldosteronism, and androgenital syndrome, that is excessive secretion of adrenal androgens. Let's study the first, the Cushing syndrome. The Cushing syndrome, it refers to the group of clinical conditions occurring due to prolonged excessive levels of glucocorticoids. So you have to have this prolonged term important, prolonged and excessive. Okay, so the excessive and prolonged levels of glucocorticoid, if it is there, we call it a condition that is known as Cushing syndrome. What is the difference between syndrome and a disease? A group of disease and manifestation, signs and symptoms makes a syndrome, right? So it is the difference between disease and syndrome. Now, what are the causes of Cushing syndrome? If we have to classify the causes, we can categorize these causes into ACTH dependent Cushing syndrome and ACTH independent Cushing syndrome. First of all, we will discuss ACTH dependent Cushing syndrome. That means the hypersecretion of glucocorticoid, prolonged and excessive, is dependent upon the another hormone, that is the ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. This type of Cushing syndrome is more common than the ACTH independent, and 80% cases are due to this ACTH dependent. The Cushing syndrome cases ACTH dependent are 80%, and due to hyperplasia of the adrenal cortex secreting excessive glucocorticoid. So there is a hyperplasia, increased number of cells of what? Adrenal cortex, that will cause excessive glucocorticoid secretions. And there are some condition, since this Cushing syndrome is ACTH dependent, so there has to be some condition which will increase the ACTH, right? Now what are the conditions? The first is hyperactivity of the pituitary. Hyperactivity of the pituitary. It is seen in tumors or cancer of pituitary cells, particularly the basophil cells of pituitary gland, which secretes ACTH. Resulting condition of pituitary origin is also known as Cushing's disease. So, if your Cushing syndrome is originating because of this pituitary gland, मान लो cancer of the pituitary gland, so that will be known as Cushing disease. When you see Cushing disease, when you say Cushing disease, that means when you say Cushing disease, that means it is a Cushing syndrome that is originated. It is a Cushing syndrome that is ACTH dependent and has been originated from the pituitary gland. So when there is a hyperactivity pituitary, when there is an increased tumor or cancer of this basophil cell which secretes ACTH, so much of the ACTH is secreted, and more the ACTH secretes, more will be the excessive glucocorticoid secretion. The second is ectopic ACTH production. This is ectopic ACTH production. That means the ACTH is being produced not from the portion where it is naturally being synthesized, but from the other portion. Okay. One second. Okay. So this is ectopic ACTH production. So I think you understand what is ectopic. Ectopic means from elsewhere, not from the original place where it is synthesized. So ACTH is being produced from some other places than naturally produced. It is seen in benign and malignant non-endocrine tumors, or example, cancer of lungs and abdominal viscera. So if there is a carcinoma of the lung or carcinoma of the abdomen, so that cancer of the lung or cancer of the abdomen will, abdominal viscera means that will produce ACTH there itself. That is the ectopic ACTH production. So this is the second reason where ACTH production can be higher, and that can lead to the excessive glucocorticoid and hence Cushing syndrome. Excessive ACTH secretion in hypothalamic disorder. This is hypothalamic disorder associated with excessive CRH secretion. So if there is some disorder or tumor in hypothalamus, that will increase the corticotropic releasing hormone, and excess corticotropic releasing hormone will cause excess secretion of the ACTH, and then excessive ACTH therapy, that is the iatrogenic. Iatrogenic is a term that is used when it is doctor induced. When you, sometimes we do the therapy, you know, when we excessively overdo the therapy, excess therapy, it's not needed, but we do overdo the therapy. That means that is the excessive ACTH therapy. This is called as iatrogenic. Right. So we have ACTH dependent Cushing syndrome, and the production of ACTH is increased due to hyperactivity of the pituitary, ectopic ACTH production, excessive ACTH secretions, and excessive ACTH therapy. Let's move to ACTH dependent Cushing syndrome. Now, this ACTH independent Cushing syndrome is less. It is only 20% cases. And in which condition this is independent of ACTH Cushing syndrome? So that means what? That means your ACTH is low or excess doesn't mean, but your glucocorticoid secretion is being excessively and prolongedly increased, right? So the first is adrenal origin Cushing syndrome. Adrenal origin Cushing syndrome. It is caused by glucocorticoid secretions secreting tumors such as adrenal adenoma and adrenal carcinoma. So now your tumor is not in the hypothalamus, your tumor is not in the pituitary, so we don't need any relationship with the ACTH. So the tumor is itself in the gland of adrenal. So if there is an adrenal adenoma, this is a benign tumor, adrenal carcinoma, this is the malignant tumor of adrenal cortex, that can also cause excessive secretion of ACTH, glucocorticoids, and hence Cushing syndrome. Excessive glucocorticoid administration, again this is doctor induced, so it is known as iatrogenic. So we call it a iatrogenic glucocorticoid administration for a disease such as rheumatoid arthritis. In rheumatoid arthritis, we give glucocorticoids. In rheumatoid arthritis, we give glucocorticoid, and in that, if excess glucocorticoids is given, that can lead to Cushing syndrome. Now, the other reason is abnormal expression of receptor by adrenocortical cells for GIP, beta. So you have adrenocortical cells, they will develop a receptor for abnormal receptor. Of course, these are receptor not for the ACTH, these are receptor not for the CRH, these are receptor not for the hormone which are required for the production of the glucocorticoid, right? These are the receptor which are for other hormone, another unrelated hormone like GIP, gastric inhibitory peptide, beta adrenergic agonistic, interleukin 1, gonadotropin releasing hormone. So all these are unrelated to what? These are unrelated to the adrenal gland, and on top of that, the receptors for these are abnormally expressed in these glands, and that's why when these hormones come in contact with these receptors, they can increase, they can stimulate the production of the glucocorticoids, and hence Cushing syndrome. They are still independent of the ACTH. Now, what are the signs and symptoms or classical symptoms of the this Cushing syndrome? So the first is truncal or centripetal obesity, means the obesity in the central portion of the abdomen. That is known as truncal obesity or centripetal obesity. It occurs due to redistribution of the fats of body from the redistribution of body fats from extremities, which is in the abdominal wall, bag, and producing a foreign characteristic feature. So if you have truncal obesity, means what? Your fats from your thigh, your abdomen, they are redistributed. So if they are abnormally redistributed, the central obesity is something else. But when we say centripetal obesity, that means from the abdomen, from the place where you have more adipose tissue, that adipose tissue will be distributed to your back, to your face, okay, to your stomach, I mean the abdomen. So there are different places where this central obesity or the central obesity can be redistributed, right? And that will, if it is in the back side, upper back, shoulder, you can have a buffalo hump. If it is on the face, you can have a moon face. If it is if these are in the form of cutaneous abdominal stria, or we call it livid stretch, or it is known as purple stria. In this, what happens? We will see the figure also. In this, what happens? The skin, the subcutaneous tissue becomes thin, and due to protein catabolism, excess glucocorticoid, more protein catabolism, so skin and subcutaneous tissue becomes thin. The stretching of abdominal skin due to excessive subcutaneous fat deposition causes rupture of the subdermal tissue. Rupture of the subdermal tissue producing reddish purple striae. Okay, muscle weakness will be there. Backache due to protein catabolism. So your muscle protein are less, your muscle activity are very less efficient. So back pain will be there. Sodium water retention may cause weight gain, edema, and hypertension. So when more and more adrenal cortex hormone are secreted, there will be a tendency for the retention of sodium and water, and that will cause weight gain, that will cause edema, abnormal excessive fluid in the tissue fluid. Tissue fluid में ज़्यादा excessive abnormally fluid collect होना, that is known as edema, and also hypertension. Now, since glucocorticoid is increased, you have to have a hyperglycemia. The patient of Cushing syndrome will have hyperglycemia due to gluconeogenesis and inhibition of peripheral utilization of the glucose, right? Because this is the function of the glucocorticoids. It causes gluconeogenesis and inhibition of the peripheral utilization of the glucose. It may lead to glycosuria also. So much glucose in the blood that it can still go into the urine via kidney. And adrenal diabetes. This is known as adrenal diabetes. This diabetes is not due to your pancreas. It is due to your adrenal gland. So it is known as adrenal diabetes, right? Hirsutism and menstrual irregularity. You can very well expect how this hirsutism occurs in females. This hirsutism or menstrual irregularity in females is due to increased adrenal androgen. Because when we have hyperactivity of the adrenal cortex, your sex corticoids that have the ability to form androgens will also increase in the females, and that will cause hirsutism and menstrual irregularity, right? Then the sixth point is susceptibility to the osteoporosis and bone fracture. As you know, the protein the protein not only from the skin, the protein in your bone cells, that also get destroyed gradually, and that will have a susceptible susceptible to the osteoporosis and bone fracture. Susceptible to the infection due to immunosuppression. More glucocorticoids, there will be more immunosuppression, because steroids are used for immunosuppression in different diseases also. Let's say for the this disease which we have just discussed it. Any compromised disease, we can use it. I don't remember the name actually. Difficult to recall. Okay, I'll tell you later on. It's not coming in my mind right now. Okay, so you just know that whatever the immune system disease is there, मास्थेनिया ग्रेविस में भी देते हैं, ठीक है, और बहुत सारे डिजीज है उसमें दे सकते हैं. उसमें इम्यून सप्रेशन करने के लिए वी गिव दिस कॉर्टिकोस्टेरॉइड्स, बट इम्यून सप्रेशन तो हो जाता है, बट यू आर ससेप्टेबल टू इन्फेक्शन ऑल्सो, नो. So psychological, emotional and personality changes may also occur if this excess glucocorticoid can affect CNS. Blackening of the skin. This I was discussing when we discussed that MSH is important. MSH like effect of excessive ACTH secretion will cause MSH like effect, blackening of the skin. Susceptibility to peptic ulceration is increased. So peptic ulcer, blackening of the skin, psychological disturbance, infection, osteoporosis, bone fracture, hirsutism, then what? Hypertension, hyperglycemia, sodium water retention, muscle weakness, purple striae, moon phase, buffalo hump. All these things are the sign and symptom of the Cushing syndrome. Look at this. You can see the puff and moon face of this person, and you can see the purple stria of the abdomen, right? This is the thinning of the skin and subcutaneous tissues, the catabolism of the protein. Okay, now what are the tests for Cushing syndrome? Which test can we do for Cushing syndrome, right? So the test to confirm the diagnosis of the Cushing syndrome, this is to confirm the diagnosis 100% this is Cushing syndrome. When we say there is a test for diagnosis to confirm the Cushing syndrome, is the first is plasma cortisol level. When plasma cortisol level is raised and there is loss of diurnal pattern, that is circadian rhythm is lost. Okay, dexamethasone suppression test is not able to suppress the plasma cortisol. When we give dexamethasone suppression, so dexamethasone what will do? It will suppress the cortisol level. It will naturally, in normal condition, if we give dexamethasone from outside, this is the steroids, and since by negative feedback it should have decreased the plasma level of cortisol. But after giving more dexamethasone, and if we test the plasma and we come to know that it is not suppressing the plasma cortisol level, in fact it is plasma cortisol is increasing, we cannot say that this is a Cushing syndrome, excessive glucocorticoid secretion or excessive corticosteroid secretion. Now other test is insulin induced hypoglycemia. Okay. If it was due, this hyperglycemia was due to the pancreas, it should have been suppressed by insulin. If we give insulin, it should have been suppressed. But since this is not, if it is not by pancreas, so even if we give insulin, it fails to decrease the glucocorticoid and sugar level. So which raises the plasma cortisol in normal but fails to raise it in the Cushing syndrome. And this insulin, it is just opposite to the cortisol level. If insulin you give, cortisol level should decrease. But here we are giving insulin, but cortisol level of the plasma is increased. It should have been decreased, but it is increasing. So that will confirm the diagnosis of Cushing syndrome. if you take the patient's 24-hour urine free cortisol level, and if it is increased, then we say that it is Cushing syndrome. So these are the 4 tests which to confirm the confirm the Cushing syndrome. Okay, we can pause and see if you want. Test to differentiate between ACTH dependent and ACTH independent. It is very important to know whether it is ACTH or if it is ACTH. We will have more focus on what? We'll have more focus on pituitary gland and hypothalamus. If it is ACTH independent, we will shift our focus from the pituitary and hypothalamus towards the adrenal gland, right? So we need to know the difference between ACTH dependent and ACTH independent. So ACTH dependent, if it is the cause is pituitary gland. So what happened? Plasma ACTH level at 8 AM is increased. But in ACTH independent, it does not depend upon the circadian hormone, that ACTH and CRH. That pulsatile hormone के से संबंधी नहीं है उसको, जो ACTH independent होता है. उस केस में प्लाज्मा ACTH लेवल अगर इसमें अनडिटेक्टेबल होगा, लेकिन इसमें प्लाज्मा लेवल एट 8 AM जो नेचुरल इंक्रीज करेगा. ठीक है, तो वी सी द प्लाज्मा ACTH लेवल. If it is at 8 AM, if it is increased, we say that it is pituitary origin and hence ACTH dependent. If it is undetectable, we say that it should have been increased if it is pituitary. That means it does not depend upon the ACTH and hence undetectable. ACTH level following CRH stimulation. If CRH, we all know that CRH has a diurnal stimulation towards the ACTH. And ACTH has diurnal stimulation towards the this hormone of the glucocorticoids, but adrenal cortex. But after CRH, there is a increased level of ACTH, because CRH hormone controls the ACTH level. But even after CRH hormone, if there is no change in ACTH level, that means it is ACTH independent. Metidopone test, level of 11-deoxycortisol after 24 hours. If it is decreased, that means it is ACTH dependent or pituitary cause is there. And if it is no change, that means it is ACTH independent. No need to go more in detail all this. These tests are not asked. Just you have to know something about it. What is decrease, what is increase. Deep you don't have to go. Then we say hyperaldosteronism. Hyperaldosteronism. Hyperaldosteronism refers to the overproduction of the hormone aldosterone, specifically a major sodium retaining hormone. What are the causes? Depending upon the causes, hyperaldosteronism may be primary hyperaldosteronism or Crohn's disease, or secondary hyperaldosteronism due to some extra-adrenal causes. So primary hyperaldosteronism is also known as Crohn's disease. Okay, it occurs due to tumor or hyperplasia of the zona granulata. Okay, it is due to the tumor or hyperplasia of the hyperplasia means increased number of the cell, cancer of the zona granulata of the adrenal cortex. Okay, if it is zona granulata is increased, this is primary hyperaldosteronism or Crohn's disease. They are both the same. Mainly you have the Crohn's disease name as in the questions, so don't confuse. It is the hyperaldosteronism. Secondary causes of hyperaldosteronism is what, or secondary hyperaldosteronism is what? It is due to some extra adrenal causes. Means it is not related to the adrenal glands, which stimulates renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. Example: so there are some diseases. Extra adrenal diseases that can stimulate this RAS system. And if there is a RAS system increase, so angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2, angiotensin 2 to increase aldosterone, right? So some other system or some other disease which can stimulate RAS system, that will be known as secondary hyperaldosteronism, right? So it is nephrotic syndrome of the kidney, cirrhosis of the liver, congestive heart failure, or toxemia of the pregnancy. These are the condition, of course, extra-adrenal, not related to adrenal, but it stimulates RAS system and hence increase aldosteronism. What are the characteristics of aldosteronism? In background that it is a sodium retaining hormone, right? So the feature is sodium and water retention that leads to, of course, hypertension and edema. It is important to note that the marked hypernatremia and edema do not occur because of sodium excretion is soon normalized despite of hypersecretion aldosterone. This is known as escape phenomenon. We have studied about it. Okay. So what is this? Marked hypernatremia and edema due to sodium and water retention because of hyperaldosteronism do not occur. Initially do not occur because sodium excretion is soon normalized despite hypersecretion. So despite hypersecretion of aldosterone, the body का ऐसा एक response होता है जिसमें कि सोडियम एक्सक्रीशन बढ़ता है. किस हार्मोन से बढ़ता है सोडियम एक्सक्रीशन? वो हार्मोन क्या है? Atrial natriuretic peptides या brain natriuretic peptides. याद है? So that hormone is increased and that will increase the sodium excretion, and hence for some time sodium will not be retaining. So that is known as escape phenomenon. But after some limitation, if excess of aldosterone is there continuing, that will cause sodium and water retention. So hypokalemia may occur due to increased potassium excretion. So more aldosterone, sodium absorption and potassium excretion, right? So producing hypokalemia, and hypokalemia decreased potassium level causes muscle weakness, periodic muscle paralysis, whereas prolonged depletion of the potassium may causes renal damage, producing the polyuria. ठीक है? तो पहले तो शुरू में मसल वीकनेस कराएगा और पीरियडिक मसल पैरालिसिस करवाएगा. धीरे धीरे क्या होगा? प्रोलॉन्ग पोटेशियम लेवल डिप्लीशन रीनल डैमेज भी करवा सकते हैं, पॉलीयूरिया करवा सकता है. मेटाबॉलिक अल्कोलोसिस, सो it is due to secretion of more amount of H plus in renal tubule, and metabolic alkalosis may produce hypocalcemia causing tetany. So this hyperaldosteronism is also causes H plus secretions. So much H plus secretion into the tubules. That means this H plus secretion into the tubule from the where? From the tubule from where it gets? From the capillary. So that means from the body blood vessels and the tubule cells into the lumen, you are excreting actually H plus and making your urine acidic, right? So in body you have metabolic alkalosis because of loss of H plus, and this high HCO3, high bicarbonate in the body or in the blood will combine with calcium in your blood, और चेलेटिंग चेलेशन बोलते हैं इसको, कि कैल्शियम के साथ चेलेटिंग कर लेगा, है ना, will combine it with the calcium, so that will cause hypocalcemia, and hypocalcemia can cause tetany, right? tetany condition पढ़ सकते हो इंटरनेट पे. Now the last part is androgenital syndrome. As mentioned earlier, androgen precursor is secreted by the adrenal cortex are of little biological importance. This is physiological importance on the normal condition. So in the female, nothing will happen. Androgen are secreted, but that will not cause anything unless and until it is secreted in excess, as in androgenital syndrome. However, when secretion in large amount, as in tumor of zona reticulosa, that produces androgen, is a tumor of zona reticulosa, that will cause or androgenital syndrome. And what are the signs symptoms? In pre-pubertal male, if you talk about the male, it causes precocious pseudopuberty. Precocious pseudopuberty. That means all the male sexual feature will not come in puberty, will come before the puberty only. Okay. In male, what happens, the estrogen producing cells may produce female like secondary sexual character. ठीक है, because एस्ट्रोजन का भी प्रोडक्शन बढ़ जाता है. एस्ट्रोजन मेल में एस्ट्रोजन सेक्रेटिंग सेल्स जो होता है दैट इज प्रेजेंट इन adrenal cortex in Juna reticulosa. If there is tumor of Juna reticulosa in male, the estrogen secreting cells which were dormant or which were not biologically functional, that will become more and more excessively functional, and that will cause female like secondary sexual characteristic, enlargement of the breast also. So hyperaldosteronism Conn's disease में क्या होता है, enlargement of the breast, sorry not only, endogenital syndrome में क्या होता है, enlargement of the breast in male, that is known as gynecomastia, atrophy of the testes. So since this is opposite to the estrogen is opposite to the testosterone, so it causes atrophy of the testes, loss of libido or sexual desire, or feminine body. So female body type feature will occur. What happens in female? They will develop a male secondary sexual characters like beard, muscular body, breaking of voice, male type hair growth, enlargement of clitoris, and amenorrhea. Loss of menses is known as amenorrhea. Okay. So we will stop here. We will hypoactivity we can discuss. Let's see it is how much. Okay. ये थोड़ा बड़ा है, so we will put it for the next slide. Okay. It's already, it is 31 minutes. We can discuss more. 10 minutes we can discuss. Or you don't want to do more? What? Yes or no? I can't listen it, but I can listen your heart. So that we have to stop. I will listen to my heart. Okay. Anyway, so we'll stop here, right? Take care. Thank you.